Okay, everybody, thanks. This is Vince with Listings to Leads, and we're going to be talking about Facebook advertising today. And I know some of you got on here earlier. If you have questions, please put them right here in the chat panel, and then I'll kind of take some breaks and I'll answer them. Oh, another question, Pete. We're going to have to get that later. So, Pete's on the call with us, and he is an advanced user and awesome. I actually met him just a couple weeks ago. But I want to talk a little bit about Facebook advertising. It's obviously what we're here for. And this is an ad on here, and there's a couple things that we're learning. And what we're trying to do here is figure out how to share what we learn, because we have a really awesome mastermind group. A lot of our clients are there. They're showing ideas. And just like anything on the internet, things change really quickly, and we learn from each other, and we share that in the mastermind group pretty readily. And one of the things that Scott's been doing is putting up a blog post. And if you go to our website, you'll notice at the bottom that there is a blog post. And the latest one is the Facebook Mastermind Roundup. And so what he's doing is kind of collating some of the more interesting ones. And this might not seem important, and for some reason the picture isn't showing up, but it is important, because in this call I'm going to walk you through what it actually takes to get a how you post an ad on Facebook. And some of you know that, some of you don't know that, and you definitely got to know how to do that. But what we're finding out is that certain things work better, right? And I clicked on this a minute ago. I'll click on it again. I don't know why the picture is dead. It should be a picture of this ad. And one thing that we noticed is that when you write more content, like you can see here, it says Granite Bay Home Alert. It's kind of newsy, right? One thing we noticed is that we got a better pay-per-click rate. We don't know why. We run ads a lot, but many times, and many of us run, you're copying our link, and you're putting it on Facebook, you're getting the demographic, and you're posting it, right? And for some of you, that's just working just fine, but really, you will start to find that that's not really working so well. And we start to, we do so many that one of the big things is, what is my pay-per-click rate? If I put in $5 for the day, am I going to get 10 maximum clicks? Am I going to get 20 maximum clicks, or am I going to get 30? And that's relevant, because it's your money you're putting in there, and it's clicking. We're getting clicks, and when you click, you land on a page that is a property valuation, in this case a property valuation landing page, right? And these pages work. You've probably seen these in other areas, but let's just fill this out and see what it is that we're after here, right? So when a consumer, just so in case you don't know this, I'm going to move through this fairly quickly. A consumer lands on this page, and they click go, they put in their address, and the page takes you to kind of a confirmation page. Now, we have many pages for seller lead capture. This is called Property Valuation Plus, and it works pretty well, because it does two things. It shows you the home on the right, and then it asks you a question on the left. Is this information correct? And it's basically a buy-in page, right? Yeah, okay, I look at this, I get it. Yeah, you see my house, that is my house. Great. And you click, yeah, that works. And then it says, okay, well, now what do you got to do? Well, now what do you want? Well, I see the valuation. It's telling us the valuation, we got the valuation for this home. But in order to get it, I, the consumer, have to give you some contact information, right? And then you click for report, and it drops us, click that one more time, it drops the consumer on a page that's showing them a valuation. It's also got your picture over on the right. It's saying if you want to schedule a meeting, we can do that. Over here, I don't know if you can see it, I just got a pop-up. It's an auto response from the agent to me, the consumer, saying, hey, I saw that you're interested in that, and etc., right? Did you make any improvements and things like that? So that's kind of the nature of how that whole system works. When the consumer gets the estimate like this, you, the agent, gets a copy of those numbers and the contact information that they gave to get those numbers. Okay, so it's kind of a quick little tool, and yeah, the way to number one way to get this in front of people is to get it. Let's see. Let me go back here. Is to get this page on Facebook, right? And I'll talk to you why Facebook is so powerful. But I want to go back to this original concept, which is you need it. It is more than copy and paste. I know a lot of you are good at copying and pasting, but it is more powerful. And I don't know why the heck this is not showing us the pictures, but you can see this blog post, and you'll see that he's generated a bunch of leads from this. So when we click on it, it takes us to the actual ad here, right? And it looks pretty good because we can see, boom, house in Granite Bay are selling in less than 30 days on the market. Get your home value free now, immediately, right? That's the concept of that blog, of that ad. And it's doing a couple things. It's telling the consumer they can get it immediately. It's also telling people that homes are selling very quickly. And what you have to think about when you're putting anything on Facebook is what is going to motivate them. Okay, what is going to motivate them to click here and get that answer now? Because I'm going to show you in a few minutes how to run an ad with our system, and you're going to see that the language there is not anywhere not like this, right? It's not like this. It's super generic, really defaulty, and it's not meant for you to use. It's meant for you to start from there and build it. So what I'm pointing out is that we know that taking time to write certain ad content, and the content is here. This is really what you control. This picture comes in the background, but this language there and here is what opens up and what makes that really work. And so you need to be thinking about it a little more than just, I'm going to copy the link from with what the guys at Listings to Leads gave me, and I'm going to paste it on Facebook and it's all going to be awesome, right? You need to think a little bit. You got to just put a little more effort into it than that. So let's click this one here. This is an ad I picked up on L2L and it generated good response. So let's click it. I don't know why it's not showing it. Okay. So here is an ad that he wrote, right? And there are different ways. So this is a different landing page, right? And the message is different. And that's the thing when so there's two concepts of running ads on Facebook. And we're going to get into the strategy in a second. But one of them is to run property valuation ads. I know people call me every day. Yeah, I want to get more seller leads, and I want that property valuation page, and I want to put it on Facebook. Awesome, that's great, and I get it. But actually, to really make that work, you also need to market other things like other homes for sale, other open houses, even if they're not yours. Okay, even if they're not yours, you can borrow them. There's no rules in our system. You got to pay attention to the courtesy of other agents and the MLS rules. But you can borrow listings, put them inside your account, and run ads on them and say, hey, here's an open house. Here's something that just sold. Here's something that's just listed, etc. Right? You do that for a couple bucks a day. So here is an ad from Wade Graham. This one here, planning to sell your Lloydminster home, find out the home value now, find out your 100% fast and free. So this concept, I think that fast and free, I don't know if you can see it, it's kind of grayed out. This is that's an important factor. People don't really want to talk to realtors, not until the last minute. Hey, let's see here. I got a question, so I'm going to answer it. So fast and free is really, I think, important to use, right? Let's see here. I did a valuation user webinar, but all we got back was a page with no property valuation, zeros. Yeah, I'm not sure, Richard. Put that in the support question, in the support contact support page, and find out why that did that. But over here, this is Wade's leads. So these are the kinds of leads he's getting in his phone, right? He's getting it, and so when people fill out these pages, they actually come either in a text format and an email format, and that's what happens when you're using our tools. Okay, so I won't go back to my blog page because all the nice pictures went away. Let's look at this one, landing page targeting buyers. Let's just look at this one because Oh, I guess that is for buyers, right? So we were looking at that earlier. And so one thing we're going to do on these blog posts, well, first of all, we're going to start collating these blog posts and putting it on one page in the support system. We're going to start talking more about it and getting it in front of you, because we really know that writing the ad, making the ad with the right language is what really makes these things work. Okay? And that's really the point that I want to put upon you, so that when you get off of here, it's like, yeah, Listings to Leads does have the right tools, but I do have to think about something. It's not just a copy and paste exercise anymore. Because I'll tell you what, if you haven't figured it out by now, a lot of people are familiar with this kind of technology. We are not the only company that does it. But I'm pretty sure that right now we're the only company talking to our clients about thinking about what you're writing, right? Because I know that there's prime sellers and there's home values and there's the list goes on of people that have landing pages, and you can go find them. But I know that it's just like, yeah, do this. We're going to sell it to you at the zip code level. Great, that's awesome. Your return could be negligible, right? I'm already hearing that. I talk to a lot of people, a lot of companies. They're not always happy with Zillow leads and Trillo leads and all these other things. And now they're not always happy with all these other landing page leads either. And the reality is because not many people are putting the thought into what makes these things actually work. Pizza Bean's on this call. He's got a couple good questions. I happened to meet him last week and his team. And here he goes. So let's look at this. Let's look at this. Thanks, Pete. And these guys meet every week to talk about their strategy and how they can apply listings to leads. And so they invited me to one of those calls. Oh, here's cool. Oh, this is interesting. So, Pete, let me ask you a question. Is this page working? Coming soon hotline, Pleasant Hill condos for sale. Your list of coming soon Pleasant Hill condos for sale sent to you via email. Is this working, Pete? This is an old school landing page that we use. Have you run ads on this? I'd be really interested to find that out. And I'll tell you what, signing up for homes doesn't always work well, but certain kinds of homes, this kind of landing page works really well. And usually it's distressed homes, right? Foreclosures and short sales, because people who are interested in those are really looking for a deal, right? And but when you're looking for a list of homes, like I don't recommend this if you're running an ad for Lafayette. I live in Lafayette. Lafayette homes for sale, right? If I present somebody with this, if you want a free list of Lafayette homes, fill this out, right? Well, no, because I do have half a brain, and I could just go to Lafayette homes for sale, and I could find them, right? It would take me 5 seconds. So why would I fill that out when I got a bunch of companies right here that's just going to give it to me? So that is why I'm not a real fan of that. We do have a lot of links in our system. Just launch a campaign, too soon to tell. Cool. Let me know, Pete. I'd be really interested to hear how that works. So let's get into listings to leads, and let's talk about, or actually I think I'm logged in over here. Am I? Yeah. So about Facebook, this is more for you new folks. There is a call right here that says view recorded webinar with Shannon Pyatt. And actually we should put that this isn't, but he only uses Facebook pay-per-click advertising. Shannon is a seasoned tech-savvy realtor, okay? He is not like a brand new realtor. And the reason why I point that out is that he tells us in this call that he no longer spends money anywhere else except with us at Listings to Leads and on Facebook pay-per-click advertising. Now you can see that there is actually a call, or he put in our Facebook mastermind group, that 90% of his new business comes from Facebook, using our tools on Facebook. So I really want you to watch this call. And I'm actually, when he joined us, we taught him what I'm about to go through right now. But I know you're going to forget what I'm saying, and you're distracted with your phone calls and your smartphones. So when you can, come and watch this Shannon Pyatt thing, right? And apply this. This call up here is very cool. Neil Wolf has also using Facebook, but is also using one of our really great tools, interesting tools, on Craigslist. And not a lot of people talk about Craigslist anymore. He's generating a ton of leads off it, so I will try to show you that. But back to the Facebook discussion, watch the Shannon Pyatt call. Go over here to the Facebook advertising button, that green button that I clicked on real fast, right there. And that will bring up how to place an ad in under 2 minutes. I am going to walk through how to place an ad in just a couple minutes. But also, how do you get the landing pages? How do you actually get a landing page, and how do you customize it? This is a really good video right here to show you how to do it. As I mentioned when we were talking about our blogs, and we got it here, you know what we know is like it's just hard for you guys aren't going to remember to ever come back here again, right? So we're going to actually put a link in this page at some point to the in this page, right? Because this page, you get to this by clicking this green button. And this is where we really want you to go if you have questions about Facebook advertising, because here you can see how to run an ad. Here's a really important Facebook call. Here's how to create these pages. So we want that language to give you ideas right on this page so that you can start to also think, what are great ways, what are great ads that work, right? So that's really the point, and that's what we're after, okay? So I'm going to jump to it real quick. There's a page here, it says landing pages. And early on the call, before we started the recording, Pete asked, what's mobile responsive? And actually everything in the two columns are mobile responsive. These over here on the left are not mobile responsive. It doesn't mean they don't work on smartphones, it's just they're not super optimized. But even though things are mobile responsive, you got to think about, do I really want somebody to fill out a multi-page form in a smartphone? And when is the best time to do that? Is that on the weekend when we're sitting around watching sports on an iPad, or is it during the week when I'm standing around in a Starbucks line and driving my car? Do I really want people to be looking at my tools on mobile? So we'll get into that. I'll show you what I'm talking about there. But this is where all the landing pages are. There is again, the Facebook advertising pages here. There's a partial to full lead converter, which is really awesome. It's Cole Information Technology. If you've ever heard of it, it's like a Spokio, and it's like a Vulcan 7. And basically, there are leads and there are partial leads. And partial leads basically means you get the address, and before the person gives you their contact information, they walk away. And this little tool here, you got to sign up. It's extra. It's $30 a month. But it will go out, and as soon as you get the address, we've got it integrated so that we go out and grab the information from Cole and pop it into your lead so that you have as much information as you get. Many times you're getting phone numbers, and many times you're getting email addresses. Not all the time, but that's really what it does, and I really like it. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about it. There are off-market properties yet on, yeah, so that's cool. That's great. So you're doing that off-market properties with that page over there. I'm jumping around here. So Pete's using this page. I think you can make this message here on this page, Pete, a little stronger. Because what you're talking about, what Pete is talking about, is he's using this page, and you heard me talk about it a minute ago, whereas this really works well for foreclosures, and we have it pre-built for foreclosures and short sales. But he's thinking outside of the box and saying, I've got off-market properties, and if you want to get those, fill this out. And that's a great message. I just think he's used our default message and changed it a little bit of language. Click the edit page, tighten up that message. And you don't have to rerun the ad, because this ad is running on the link up here. If you run this ad, it's just looking for this. Any changes you make down here will just automatically flow into it. So if you got the ad running, I would take a few minutes and go to the edit page of this section and work on this language, because in one line you told me there are off-market properties in there, and I get it. And as a consumer, I would get it. If I want off-market properties, which I do because properties are really hard to come by over here, I would fill that out, right? Okay, so back to where we were. This is my lead here. This is me. I filled out that lead capture form, and it told me this is the auto response for the agent. Okay, so we were over here. I'm trying to get back. I got a bunch of things open. This is my landing page section, and this is where all the fun stuff is, right? So now you know you get there by clicking landing pages, and because now you know where the fun stuff is, I'm not going to show you the fun stuff. I'm going to take you to the listings page, and we're going to talk about the boring stuff that really makes the fun stuff work, okay? And this is dead on straight. You listen to Shannon Pyatt. This is what he's doing. We taught Shannon how to do it. We taught a lot of people how to do it. And if you want your business to really work well, you got to follow these steps. I got to close the door here because I can hear a phone ringing in the background. So about Facebook, yeah, I'm going to show you in a second how you run an ad. And I know you're really excited about putting property valuations on Facebook, and that's cool. But what you also have to do, what you have to remember when we talk about partial leads, is you got to build some kind of trust with your market, right? Your market is in Facebook. So unless, I don't know, you got like some big celebrity name that everybody's going to go, oh yeah, I'll fill out whatever this guy puts on the web, you need to build a brand where you expect to get those leads. And you do that on Facebook by running ads, not just about property valuations, but about homes coming, maybe coming soon, just listed, open house, right? Over here in the column, this is our listings page, and I'm sure if you're brand new to us, maybe you don't have any listings. Borrow them, get them inside. You can pull them in just by using the grab active listing button. Just make sure you've got some sort of permission. We're not going to check it, but you've got some sort of rules. The first column is status, right? And AC is active contingent, just sold, right? Under deposit. So I'm going to click on the single property website here and show you that here is the property, right? Here's the property, and there's a bunch of things going on. I've got lead generation links that can point right to my website. Sorry, I got to turn off the music here. Really? And then it says under deposit. All right. So I'm going to close that because it's killing me. But the side links push right to your website, and that's a great place to get more leads over there, right? This is a market leader site. You got about 3 clicks and you got to register. So if you got any kind of website like that, you definitely want to use single property websites. They work really well and they look good, right? So here I've got one in Maple Grove, and this is just an active listing. And notice that my home is in Maple Grove, Minnesota. I've got homes for Maple Grove. Maple Grove homes under 500K. Abingdon is a cool little neighborhood in Maple Grove. And of course, what is your home worth, right? So this single property website doesn't just talk about the home. It's got multiple ways for you to capture leads. So this is a great way, a great tool to get out on Facebook to build your brand. Even if it's not your home, you pulled in the listing and you're going to just market it out there for a couple bucks a day. We've also got another cool tool, which is, again, for branding. It's in this column that says listing landing page, okay? And you click on the listing landing page down here, and it opens up what looks like a landing page, mobile responsive, really pretty, right? And pretty is really an important piece. You want to make sure you've got good looking photos out there, because if you're building a brand with bad photos, you're not really building a good brand, right? This is a beautiful photo, nice home. I'm saying, hey, we got a home that just sold, right? And so thousands of people are going to see these ads with these beautiful pictures, and that's really what you got to remember, is I want to know that. Now, if you're working in an area where there's smaller homes and they're maybe entry-level homes, you're building that brand too. So don't think like it's got to look like, luxury, but it does have to be nice. It can't be bad, because that just reflects on your brand, right? So this page here, I'll fill it out real quick. Again, I got to give you information as a consumer. To get information, where does this take me? It takes me right to the single property website. And then what do I have here? A bunch of lead capture on the left-hand side, okay? So those are the two tools. Over here, I got a lead just popped up. Those are the two tools to build your brand, okay? And I really recommend, although I got to kind of put a caveat on it now, you used to be able to run an ad on Facebook for $1 a day. And that was like 30 days ago, right? And I would have told you then, run at least one ad every day of the month for $1 a day. Don't run it for 30 days, but run it for 4 days and make it look this way. And then run it, a couple days later, maybe not as open house, but maybe run it as just listed and change the pictures. Why? So that you're giving some depth to that brand. People are coming in and seeing you over and over, okay? And they're seeing different things. Now on the Shannon Pyatt call, Shannon's been in the business a while. He's got 20 listings. What he does is every listing he always promotes for $1 a day for 30 days. Now, he might actually still be able to do that because he's got a lot, he spends a lot. He's got a lot of ads running all the time. But here's the point that I want you to understand about Shannon Pyatt and Melanie Banks, if you ever see her call, and also Neil Wolf, is people are calling them out of the blue cold and saying, I am seeing you all over Facebook. I see you are a realtor and I want you to call me. I want you to sell my home. That is the point of advertising, right? What we're talking about is lead generation. But honestly, advertising is I want people to know I'm a realtor so that they call me for some service. And 71% of adults in the United States are on Facebook right now. Okay? 71%. In the old days, you could do whatever you want. You could have bought a bus sign. You could have bought one of those signs on the side of a bus. You could have put it in the phone book. You could have put it on the back of a colorful magazine. But a lot of those things are toast. And you don't know where people are. But I'm telling you right now, as of November, almost a year and a half ago, 71% of adults are on Facebook. So this is why you have to be on Facebook and build your brand. Okay? 2 great tools. Single property website and the listing landing page. I actually like the single property website more because it looks good and there's lead captures, all kinds of lead generation links right on it, and it's not forcing people to sign up right now. It doesn't look as cool as that listing landing page, but it allows the consumer to go, oh, well, there's something cool. I can see there's an agent. I can see something about this area and a home, and there's all kinds of lead generation links. I can find out what my home is worth. So I actually like this. But there is a listing landing page, and you should mix them up. You should use both, right? Notice here's a forced pop-up, and I got to close it, or I can fill it out. So that being said, let's now go to the fun stuff, the landing pages, right? And let's look at the number one page I like. And I'm going to go through a couple. If you hover over them, it'll kind of tell you, or show you what it's going to look like. So I'm going to click on our first one, property valuation, and I'm going to show it to you and give you an understanding of what's going on here. Okay, because a lot of things. Here is an autofill version, right? Which means it automatically pushes your address. It can see your IP address. And I know, real estate agents, they get excited about the most ridiculous things. Scott's the same way, right? And here's one that everybody was all excited about. I actually have to click a button to say, yeah, that's my address. And you know what? It's an IP deal, and I don't know what it works like, but right now that's not my address. Okay? So first of all, before I even get to this page, I got to click something to accept that I'm going to allow this browser to jump into my browser. And you know how people are with security, and especially when you're trying to get somebody's email address. You're already asking a kind of a security question. So why are you going to force that on somebody? I don't know, but agents love that nonsense. Here is another one that says 2-page version. This is the first one we did, okay? And this one is just, here's how it is. I'm going to fill it out real quick. 1595 Huston Road. Great. We have the valuation. Give us the information. A little bit quicker, right? And that's it. That's just property valuation. And it actually, what that page is, it doesn't have a Zillow valuation built in. It just says, we will get you the valuation. You get a lead, they get that. Cool. A lot of agents don't like Zillow. They don't like Zillow estimates. And if you don't know how to work with a Zillow estimate, you don't have to use it. We got one for you. But this one here is Property Valuation Plus. This one here has a Zillow valuation at the last page. Okay, the last page, I showed it to you on the front. That's what that's for, right? Here's another one that says Property Valuation Plus 1. Well, what does plus mean? Plus means there's a Zillow valuation in it. What does 1 mean? It means that everything is on one page. Meaning, and we designed this because realtors were not happy with getting partial leads, right? Partial lead is just an address. And I don't want just an address. I at least want an email address, okay? So this one, you can't go anywhere until you give them the email address. So it's one page, right? Certainly works, but your lead generation volume just totally drops, okay? Just completely drops because nobody wants to give you their email address, right? You can understand that. Let's go back to landing page dashboard. And here's the one that I like so much, Property Valuation Plus. But before we go there, I'm going to close this. This page asks for the address first. I showed it to you earlier. Then it says, okay, is that your home on the right? And is this many bedrooms on the left? Yeah. Okay, well then you click yes. And then it asks for the contact information while it's saying, I've got your valuation. Okay. I would say 80% of consumers walk away from these pages before they will give up that contact information. 80%. Okay. So if there were 10 leads that I could have captured, if I had presented them with a property valuation plus one, meaning I'm going to just ask for that, right up front, I might get 2 leads. In this way, I'll get 10. And I'm not trying to upsell you, but I am trying to tell you this thing works. If you have this partial lead converter, it's going to get you somewhere from 60 to 70 to 80% of the contact information. So those 10 leads, now maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 are actually workable contact, with contact information. I like the idea. I think it's great because I want our clients to have leads more leads at work, right? And so that's it. Is there a different, you got to think about conversion differently? Probably. But I like Property Valuation Plus. A lot of agents like Property Valuation Plus even before we built in this partial lead converter, because they wanted more leads. Because they know, oh, I can find the owner somehow. I just want a database of people that own homes, and I will build from there. I see a question here. So right now, everybody, is a good time for questions, because the next thing I'm going to do is run an ad. So if you got questions, put them in this chat panel, and we're going to get into it. Okay? Hope this is recorded. I can't take notes fast enough. Thanks, Tom. It is recorded. I am going to put it on our mastermind group this afternoon. So yeah, but try to follow along. It is recorded. Okay. So first thing is, if you're brand new to this thing, you got to get pages under here. And I know that we are, we kind of look here and we go, oh, I want to go right. That's what I want. I'm going to click there and make it there. Save yourself some time and go right here to box number 2 and type in the area you want to build your page in. I'm going to say Wichita. Hopefully I spelled that right. And definitely spell it right and capitalize it right, because it flows right into the tools. I know that there's a percentage of you that just don't like to focus on spelling, but in this one, please do. And click Save. And at that point, let's see if I hit it right. Once you do that, there's going to be a little weird message that says we've created a series. It's right here. And what that means is I now have a Wichita page under every one of these buttons. And some of the other buttons I recommend is the FSBO page, right? Scroll down to the bottom. There's my Wichita page. See the landing page. There's an article just out, 90% of FSBOs fail. Then there's this other, sort of interesting data point that a FSBO will hand it off to a realtor in 3 months on average. So I don't know if you buy a list of FSBOs. I don't know if you see them on Craigslist. I don't know if you see them on Zillow. But if you get a FSBO, send them this and say, let me give you some free tools, right? Build that relationship. Pull their listing in. Go take some photos. Put their listing in your account and market it. You're going to capture leads out of it anyway. But you say, hey, if I bring you a buyer, great, blah, blah, blah. And all they got to do is start filling out these little check boxes here and click next, and that's how you capture a lead, right? We've also got in the same page a page for expireds, right? And from Real Estate 101 that when somebody's got a listing expired, how many hundreds of agents are going to call them in that week? At least 50, right? Do they want to talk to you? Maybe not. But do they have more questions because their home isn't sold and they want to get it sold? Probably. So get this in front of them, right? And maybe just start the dialogue that way. But the number one thing I like people to use is the Property Valuation Plus. And I see some questions, so let's take those questions before we keep going. Do a mass, I have so many pages and created many before coming back. If I do a mass creation of Quail, will this create duplicates? Well, if you do a like I just did with Quail Creek, if you type it in, it is going to create another Quail Creek. If you've already got Quail Creek in the system, you're going to have duplications, right? That's totally right. So before we run this ad, I'm going to show you what it looks like in default. Here's my Wichita one because I just typed in Wichita, and this is what it looks like default. And again, if you want really great results in generating seller leads, take a couple minutes and get this background picture to be different. It's got to look like Wichita, okay? And this one here, this is my Lafayette page. I live in Lafayette, California. This is the local reservoir, okay? This is where everybody walks their dogs and their kids, and they jog and they put the baby strollers and all that. 2.5 mile hike. Everybody loves this thing in Lafayette, right? Even if you don't live in Lafayette, you still come over here and walk on this little lake, and that's nice. So I know if I run this ad in Lafayette, people are going to know that I know this area, right? I'm not just like a random company trying to get their email address. And you got to think about that, is what is local, and that's going to make me think this guy is in my neighborhood, right? I will tell you, I set up the offices around here, and I set up a Coldwell Banker in Summit. You maybe heard me say this before. And Summit, I've never been to Summit. It's in New Jersey, right? And the broker, the manager there told me that the #1 picture that pulls leads at the highest volume is a picture of the Summit Diner in Main Street of Summit. Now, the Summit Diner is one of those old railroad cars from like the 1920s, you know, the old school things, and they gutted the inside and they put some booths and they got a diner, and you sit there and there's somebody flipping up eggs and all that. That is on Main Street, and it says in big letters on the side of it, Summit Diner. Been there for Lord knows how long, but everybody in Summit knows that. They know that thing. They're driving by it all the time. You need to think about what is it in my market that is going to resonate with my target market, like that. This here in Lafayette, I can tell you this thing is great. Over there in Summit, Summit Diner seems to be working really well. You got things that work for you, that's it. I have trouble finding pictures that are correct size. Hey Joanne, nice to see you. And that's a good question, and I am going to take a couple minutes to address that question. So follow me, people, and pay attention, because the right picture is really critical. So let's get on it, okay? Now, let's just do it. Joanne, how do we use redirect form? Joanne, what is the name of the town where you want to build a page? And what is the landmark? What am I looking for? What is hot in that town? Is it a bridge? Is it town hall? Is it a stadium? Is it downtown? How do we use a redirect form at completion? So while you're doing that, Joanne, I'm going to answer William's question here. The redirect form is on the edit page, and I actually like that, not all the time, and I actually don't like it on property valuation. But if we click any edit page, it says, where does it say? Right here, redirected form completion. What that does is, when the form is completed, when the consumer finished filling out the form, it should drop the consumer on any page you put there. So you might have like a page of your website. You might have a page of why work with me. You might have a testimonial running on one of your pages, and you want people to see that, right? Or maybe if Pete is over here running a landing page with properties that are currently off market, right? Currently off market. You're not going to find them anywhere. Fill out my landing page, and as soon as you fill it out and click send, the consumer, gets an auto reply via email. Pete gets the lead, and if he had those homes that are off market on that page, he could drop them right on that page. So I like it for that kind of stuff. Sign up for a free list of foreclosures. You might actually have a list of foreclosures on your website. So show a foreclosure landing page right in front of them and say, give us your contact information, redirected form completion, put it in there, right? How do we use the embed code? I don't even know what that is. Central LA Alexandria, Pineville Downtown Historic District. I'm going to do the Pineville Downtown Historic District. Okay, so Pineville downtown. So we're changing directions here. Okay, what do we do? I just said, you heard Vince say that having a photo is probably one of the most important pieces of running ads. How do I get something that works in my market? Oh, it's in Louisiana. Great. Okay. So I'm going to just put Pineville, LA. So I'm running a search on Google, and you need to follow this, okay? I'll go slowly. Click on images on Google, okay? And it shows a bunch of photos. And I think the question that Joanne had is, I can't find something that fits. So right here, search all tools. Click size. Click larger than and go to 4MP. This should work right here. First of all these technically from their size are going to work in the Listings to Leads landing page. You need to know that. Then there's something here that says usage rights. Labeled for reuse. That means you can use these. Okay. Now I don't know this picture over here. I don't know what that is. Doesn't look nice. I do like this picture down here. Now I don't know what this is. St. Matthew's Catholic Church. Okay. I kind of like that. I mean, you can pick whatever you want, but I'm going to do this one. I'm going to click on View Image, and I'm going to right click. I clicked on it. I'm going to save it, save image as, put it on my desktop, call it Pineville, and save. And I'll go back to my Wichita page here. All right. And my Wichita page, let's go back to, I'm all lost here. Property Valuation Plus. Go down to Wichita, click Edit. Go to this section that says Upload Background Picture. Choose File. Go to Desktop. Pineville. Open. Don't worry about this Facebook share image. You should tear that down actually because it's not useful anymore. Redirect form completion we've been talking about. You can change the line. Here's one line I really like to change. Get your answer in less than 15 seconds. I definitely like to do that. This is really cool right here. If you go buy a page that says, you go to GoDaddy and buy a link that says, you know, Pineville home values, and you say, hey, GoDaddy, point anybody that goes to that page to my page, right, to this Listings to Leads page. You save that in that little box, and it will pop it right in this pre-written message. And basically, you should edit this letter and just print this letter and mail it. And it basically says, I've got today's technology to help you get your home value. You know how you like to mail letters to your target market? And then you're basically saying, please call me for help? Well, no. Just put in the URL right here that says Pineville home values, and I've invested in the latest technology. Get your answer immediately. That's a good letter, right? Take your same activity and make it work. So that's a good place to know of what's going on. But I'm going to save and update so that my page in Wichita, I'm going to go on it up here. I'm just going to refresh, and it says, there's the picture. Get your answer in less than 15 seconds. That's how you do it, okay? And if there aren't any more questions, can you repeat what you just said about images and how to see them the size? No, I'm recording this. That's why that's the whole point of recording. You can go to our mastermind group and see it there. Okay, yeah, great, okay. Everybody's cool there. So let's run an ad, okay? Let's actually go to Facebook and run an ad. Get your page. As you see, it says in mine, get your answer in less than 15 seconds. It's a picture that totally works in my area, and I am going to copy this. There's a link at the top. Copy it. You don't need to buy a URL to run ads on Facebook. You just don't. Don't make life complicated for yourself. I know you like to, because I get all these ridiculous questions. So go to Facebook. Yes, you need a business page. Yes, you need a business page to do this. On Facebook navigation bar, the top right is a little triangle pointing down. Go down to create ads. And it's going to kind of do its thing here. It's going to give us a message about, you won't see this. I have an ad blocker, so I don't have to look at all the ads on the internet. And that's why I have that message. You're going to land on something that looks like this. What you want to do is send people to your website. Okay? And right click and paste the link that we copied. That's our property valuation page. Click on the blue button and it'll push it in there. You can name it. Here's another fun thing, Facebook pixels, great for distracting realtors, not really super critical in generating leads. So I ask you to ignore it. If you're super tech savvy and you want to spend time figuring that out, awesome. Otherwise, just click set audience and budget. And this is probably the most important thing. And if you can just be focused on this is probably the most important thing you should understand about Facebook. As I told you earlier, 71% of adults are here. And with this system, you can target those people. So I'm going to type in the zip code, 94549, Lafayette. And I'm going to show you something and really try to hear this one. And Scott, runs a lot of ads, and so we talk a lot about this. What this is doing is it's saying, my page here is for Lafayette. And I don't know if you can see in the map, but next door is Pleasant Hill, and then there's Walnut Creek and Orinda. But my page only talks about Lafayette. So I don't actually want this picture to be visible in Pleasant Hill or Concord or Orinda or any of that. I want them to live in Lafayette, and that's what this is doing. Okay. Now, if I'm running an ad to say there's an open house in Lafayette, I might want more people to see that, not just the people in Lafayette, because I want more people to know I'm in real estate. So I would like people in Concord and in Danville and in Orinda to know I'm an actual realtor. So I'm going to take a second and slow down here. This 949, there's another important point, and Scott and I are always testing and working on this. Scott seems to think, and we don't have enough data points to be 100% certain, but when you run an ad on a zip code, as opposed to typing in the town of Lafayette, they still cover the same area, in my town at least. But we get a better pay-per-click rate by using the zip code as opposed to the town. You might want to test that and pay attention to that, because better pay-per-click rates are just better to have. So I'm going to delete that zip code, and I'm going to do this another way. I'm going to type in Lafayette. Okay? And I put it there, and I want you to see what it's doing. It's giving me a little radius. It's saying everybody out, all over the place, 25 miles out, is going to see this. Now, again, this is a property valuation landing page, so I want to make sure people living in here only see it. But also, what if I was doing an open house? Do I really want people? Well, actually in San Francisco, for me, yeah, I would, because I think there are some people that live out there that would love to get out of San Francisco. But the bare minimum is I would definitely suggest 10 miles, right? Because all these areas around here, like Pleasant Hill, like Walnut Creek, Danville, I want to do business in those areas, right? Orinda, Moraga. And if you think like that too, then you want to think about that radius. Now the other thing is the age group. In Lafayette, it's a little bit pricey here, so I'm going to put minimum age 30. You can do whatever you want, 21, 25, but you probably want to put a minimum. And then there's some detailed targeting. They have to like at least one of these things. You can actually go pretty deep into some of this stuff. I don't recommend it. I just don't recommend it. If you know more and you're getting awesome results by going deep and creating more filters, awesome. But I need all of you to get base hits now. And so I'm showing you the way that I know works, which is use the right zip code, use the right town, and bracket the right age, and then set your budget. So this is a property valuation landing page, okay? We're running an ad for property valuation. So in that ad, you want to invest more money on your daily budget, at least $10 to $20 a day. I have typically said to people, run an ad for property valuation for $20 a day for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, just on the weekends. Because I think people are more slowed down. You can test it out. You might get more leads during the week, but you got to figure out your own business. I don't know this entire country, right? Then set your start and end date right here. It's going to start when? Friday. It's going to end when? It's going to kick you out a month in the future, so don't let them do that to you. I'm going to end it February 1st. And it's telling me right here, your max spend is going to be $60. So we've had a lot of clients, and we train on this. They do this, and they will generate like 20 leads, 40 leads over one weekend for $60, seller leads. So that's, again, and I'm going to reiterate this because I want, what's going to work best for you. If you were using that Cole system, that Cole information system, and you're running Property Valuation Plus, you're going to get the most amount of leads, and with the technology integration of Cole information, you're going to get the most amount of contact information. That is the best way to generate leads, just bottom line, okay? So at this point, I'm doing $10. If you were going to run an ad like this, which is a single property website to tell people you're a realtor, or you're going to run something that looks like, well, this is just sold, right? You've seen these others. I had some other pages. The listing landing pages. Anything that's designed for branding, do not run for $20 a day. Run for as little as you can. $1, $2 a day. I'm seeing in some markets, they're putting a bottom of $5, okay? So get things out there as your budget allows, keep as many ads as you can, and just kind of go from there. So click the ad and create, right? Now I want to point out, because you may not know this, you see it says $20 here, it says about 8,000 people on Facebook are going to see this, okay? And then 2,100 are going to see this on Instagram, okay? I'm going to just, if you watch those numbers, I'm going to change this to $10. And notice it drops. You're actually going to get less people seeing it. Just want you to know that. That's the reach. And the reach is great, but also the pay-per-click is great. Now, here's some great stuff right up here on the top of this next page, and it's awesome for confusing the heck out of realtors. I'm going to focus on what's going to just work right off the bat. If you want to get really slick and do some stuff and put some video and multiple images, I think multiple images are great, but I just want to focus on the easy stuff. This is what the ad's going to look like. It's not going to say sponsored by Listings to Leads. It's going to be sponsored by you, and that's the key to building a brand, right? It's going to say, hey, here is Pete the Realtor, right? Or it's going to say something like Las Vegas luxury homes. Whatever it's going to say that you want to build that brand on, that's going to be the brand. And whether you're running property valuation ads or whether you're running here's an open house or just listed or just closed, it's all tied to that brand, and that's important, right? Now, what's also important, when we started the call, I showed you some things on our blog that I know you probably weren't really excited to see. And I was talking about the language in those ads. And that is the whole point, is when you copy and paste, notice, you remember, I just pasted this link in here, and here's what it says. Find out the value of a Lafayette home value now. And you know what? I don't know. What do you think? 80% of the realtors that are signing up with Listings to Leads right now are just running this ad just like this. Right? It's just like, that's it. That's plenty for me. And it works because that's why they built it. It actually doesn't work that well. Right? The default language is not great. Frankly, it's boring. Right? So the bare minimum is to say, my favorite kind of message, click here to get your automated online home value in less than 15 seconds. And you know what? This has worked for a lot of people. But when I was showing you that blog, there were great ideas. These homes are selling in less than 30 days. These homes are selling, in 10% over asking. This is going to get people motivated. And that's what you got to think of. What motivates somebody to sell their house? I mean, You're in real estate. You must have a few ideas about that. So when I change that language down here, it changes it right up here. This is what people are going to see up on the right. Lafayette home values, right? I'm going to just change it just so that you can see. Lafayette home values, I actually don't mind. To Lafayette home values now, right? And when I change that language here, it's going to change it right underneath the photograph. Home values now, okay? And then there's that learn more button. And then here it's on the mobile feed. You want to test whether mobile works. And I'll tell you, again, mobile means it's going to be visible on smartphones. And yes, to Pete's question, some pages are mobile optimized, but is the timing right to be on mobile? Is it better to build your brand during the week on mobile, or is it better to ask people to fill out multiple pages on a website on mobile? You got to think about that. Mobile on the weekends could mean I'm sitting there watching the Super Bowl with an iPad in my hand. So that's definitely a time to use mobile. But that's what that is. Then you place the order, and at the end of that order, the end of that ad, like 5 days or 3 days or whatever you're doing, it's going to tell you that Facebook is going to say, here are the results. This many thousands of people were reached, and here's how many people clicked on it. And then you can look at that and go, wow, you know what? It reached a lot, but a lot of people didn't click. If a lot of people didn't click, you might want to work on that language, and that's why I started this call with that blog and the kind of language to use. Okay. So let's close this, or I'll stay here. Are there any questions here? So do you recommend using stealth Facebook pages anymore? I really don't know what those are, Dylan. Yeah, there are so many things. There's so many agents that are much smarter than I am. Scott does a lot more of this. And I believe that you have to build a brand. And all of our clients do use a brand, right? Does reach go up if you deselect mobile? Not that I'm aware of. And I appreciate all these questions, everybody. Keep them coming. Should we use Instagram? Yes, William. I would use Instagram for a while and see if it's becoming useful. Actually, there are realtors right now creating tremendous business with Instagram, and here's why. Instagram is a photo-based social network. So is Pinterest. And wherever photos dominate, you're able to get some traction there, right? A generic page like townhome values. Yeah. Dylan, I understand. Townhome values works, right? That totally works. Yeah, so you can do that. Yeah, sorry. Should we use Instagram? Do you recommend not use? Yeah, okay, thank you. Blah. Yeah, okay, good. So guys, if there are no more questions, I'm going to go back to listings to leads and wrap up with kind of a, how-to question. If you get stuck anywhere, there's a page right here that says contact support, and 3 people are watching this all day. Put your question here. I'm not really a fan of this chat panel on the right, so if you put your questions here, we get everybody's watching this, including Scott, and so we know if you're getting the right answer or the wrong answer. So that's what I recommend here. There are tutorials here, but then also on our homepage, excuse me, is the Facebook advertising section, online tutorials here. And then this is the link to the mastermind group. And I definitely recommend you get on our mastermind group because people are getting, they're sharing their questions, but also they're sharing their ideas of like, this is what's working for me right now. Okay. So it's not just us talking, it's our clients talking. Many times Scott is just saying, hey, I just got this from a client, I'm going to show you, right? And so that's it. Come to our mastermind group. I really recommend if you got some downtime, scan through this, right? Because there's always new stuff coming up. Scott's pulling out the latest, and we're going to try more available, but you definitely want to know, you don't want to try to reinvent everything. And that's it. That's really the Facebook call. So, and it's just over an hour. So everybody, thanks so much for your questions. Thank you very much for your time. I am going to put this recording up.